Hey guys, thanks for listening to Girls Night with Sam and Kate. I'm Kate,
I'm Sam.
and tonight we're going to talk about love languages since it's Valentine's Day.
It's Valentine's Day. I
Yes.
hated Valentine's Day growing up.
Who didn't? Who was an awkward person, right? I had one Valentine's Day that was like, oh, a cute boy did something for me, and ever since then, it's been awful.
Oh
I
no.
mean, except marriage, but that's a whole different story.
I remember in like high school I think it was high school. Yeah, it was high school. They would give like carnations.
Oh,
Like
really?
people could like purchase a carnation and give
Yeah.
it. I don't think I think I got some from like my friends, but I was always just like,
Oh,
please,
you
please,
had good
please.
friends.
Yeah, right? They were like, don't feel weird, but
When I was in middle school, they had valograms, which you could buy. You spend $1, and it was a
uh-huh.
sucker, and you wrote a message to the person, and it could be anonymous.
Oh,
And it
interesting.
always reminds me of Mean Girls. You know that
I
part of
don't
Mean Girls?
remember it.
It's like Christmas time, and it's like handing
Oh,
this
they
about like
purchased.
four for you, Glen Coco. You
Yes.
go.
You go, Glen Coco.
Yeah.
That's
So it
funny.
always reminded me of that. I always felt super awkward because a lot of my friends got them. I
Yeah.
was friends with the popular girls, but I was never anybody who received one because I wasn't a good enough friend to get one from them. But when I was in 8th grade, a boy sent me one who I played soccer with, and he was like, "Oh, like I think you're cute," and I was like so embarrassed.
Oh, really? You
But
didn't know
like,
who it was from?
he told me it was from,
Oh,
yeah, he like
okay.
wrote, and so I was like all embarrassed, and it was like this weird awkward thing because we're in 8th grade.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like run up and kiss him, like I don't know. But it was so cute. And then every Valentine's Day past that, it's kind of like I got my Valogram, like I don't need
Yeah.
anything, and I never got anything.
Never got anything.
It
Yeah.
was good.
I just remember it always being super like, oh, great, Valentine's Day. And then I never liked Valentine's Day, and then I went on my mission the
Mhm.
day before, like to the MTC the day before Valentine's Day. And
Really.
so then in the MTC, everyone's getting like all their like stuff from their
Mm.
lovers, and I'm like, Mom, send me a package.
Say anonymous. Oh,
Anyways,
I love that.
we're talking about mostly love languages,
Yes.
right?
The
That's what they're called.
5 love
The
languages.
5 love languages. And so Caitlin took a test. I tried to take one and then they wanted me to pay for my results. So we're just gonna, I think I know. I've been married almost 10 years. I think I know what my
Yeah.
love languages are.
I was pretty sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I found a free one, and then I had to take it long enough in advance to actually send it to Sam. So that's on me. But
Okay, so what are the 5 love languages?
all right. So quality time, acts of service, words of affirmation, physical touch, and receiving gifts.
That's hard. I'm like, all of them?
Yeah, like at some point in time,
Yeah.
you're gonna like appreciate one of those things more than the other.
Right. I do
So
know people who like gift giving is like their love
huge for
language
them.
is love
Yeah.
language, but I I'm like I appreciate a thoughtful gift like on my birthday,
Christmas.
Christmas, but I don't need them just like randomly. Instead, I'm like, you spent that much money on what?
Exactly.
Yes. Okay, so what did you find out about your
So it was pretty much what I thought based on the test, which the test is hard for me because it asks weird questions as far as physical touch goes. And it's like, what do you appreciate more? And a lot of the times it puts it up against other things.
Yeah.
So my physical touch is always low, but I feel like in real life it's higher.
Yeah.
Just it's not in the way these tests put it.
Yes.
I don't know. Quality time's number 1. Has been, always will be.
Right.
Acts of service is number 2, which is huge. I'm a mom of young kids. Of course, I need help, and I
Yes.
appreciate help. And my
Any.
husband's great at giving help,
Yeah.
so it's like he's doing great on that forefront.
Good job, Kyle.
Yeah, quality time again. Like we try our best to. We don't have a ton of time together, so we try to make the best of it. And a lot of it's TV shows, but the TV shows we both like.
Right.
At least I think. Third is words of affirmation, which I was surprised by. I think it was just because it was put up against present questions.
Oh yeah.
But like I get awkward when I get complimented, so that one.
Even by Kyle.
Oh yeah.
Really?
He's like, oh, like I'm so proud of you. Like you're doing such a good job, and I'm like, no, I'm not.
Oh yeah.
But from him, I like believe it. It's just still awkward. Like I just have a hard time accepting compliments. Fourth is physical touch, which I feel like again it's because of the way the test is formatted. And then 5 is receiving gifts, which is like 2%. Because like, sure, I'd like a candy bar every now and again when I'm having a
Right.
hard day, but I don't need those things to feel loved.
Yeah.
And I've said this before, but I just feel like love language tests And the whole concept of like you have to take the test and then like figure out what your partner is and like all this. I feel like it started out with good intentions, but it's literally just like at this point a scam to spend money on programs
Oh yeah.
for people to try and teach you what you already know about yourself so you can make excuses for why you don't do things.
Yeah.
And that's maybe an unpopular opinion, but like you're like my love language is words of affirmation and yours is physical touch, so you need to touch me less so you can like do more of what I
Yes.
want. It's like, but your partner's is physical touch. Like you need
Yes.
to compromise. If you're really taking the test to try and like help your relationship,
Yeah.
it's not all about the girl. And I feel like that's just the socially acceptable thing. It's kind
Mhm.
of like, oh yeah, but then like, why are you saying you're doing it to help the relationship? Really, you're just doing it for confirmation of what, like you're doing it to like rub it in their face. Like,
Yeah.
you're not doing
You're
this
not
for
doing it.
me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like
I
so many, this is a tangent. I feel like so many programs, like you said, they're things you already know.
yes.
I'm like, I spent $500 on that program to find out that I just need to sit in silence. Like, what?
Thanks.
Anyways.
Can I have a refund? I already knew
Yeah.
that.
My for sure number one is acts of service.
Yeah.
Like, just help me. And it shows that you love me, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then quality time, I think, is my number two. Like, just even if it's just like today I was like downstairs cleaning up before Caitlin got here, and Brenton came just to hang out with me while I cleaned up, you
Yeah.
know? And so I was like, you don't have to be down here. He was like, oh, I just want to be with you, right? And so it's just
Cute.
that, like, hang around me for a little bit and just be here with me. So
Mhm.
that's my second. Third is physical touch, I think, because after a long date, it feels good just to be hugged, right? It's
Yes.
like, I don't need to be touched, but just give me a hug.
Right.
And that kind of soothes everything. And then what's the other two that I don't have?
Receiving gifts.
Yeah, I'm like, I am such a penny pincher that really it bugs me when I get gifts out of the blue.
That's so funny.
I'm like, oh, like, unless it's like a candy bar, but I'm like, flowers, don't waste your money on flowers. Those are going to die in 2 days.
Yep.
And for Brenton, if it's anyone else, it's a nice gesture. But
Yeah.
like Brenton, I'm like, that's
He
our
knows
money.
you. He
Yeah.
shouldn't be doing things that you're like, why would you do this?
And then what's the other one then?
Words of affirmation.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's nice, but is it bad that, like, I don't really need anyone
No.
to tell me that I'm doing a good job?
No, you
Like,
don't need reassurance.
yeah.
That's not something everybody needs, right?
I'm like, I know I'm doing a good job. Thank you. And
Thanks.
like you, it just kind of weirds me out, right? It's like, okay.
Yeah, like I need you to tell me if you think I'm doing a bad job. But other than that, like I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing.
Yes. And then what do you think? So we won't go through all of them, but what do you think your husband's number one?
Oh, 100% I already know this physical touch. Kyle is very much like, and I don't want to like make him sound bad, but like Kyle needs intimacy.
That's how he
And
knows he's like doing a
it's-
good job.
And he's explained it to me before how he feels about it, and it
Uh-huh.
like made me want to cry. It was so sweet.
Oh, okay.
He said, basically, what I learned about sex was that it's how you create children. It's this
Uh-huh.
beautiful power of procreation, and it's a way to bond with your spouse.
A
And
connection.
for us, like it was so special because we've only done it with each other, and it's something that we share, just us. And then he's like, it's the closest thing I can do to try and like show my love for you, express my love for you. And he's like, and there's nothing else even close that I feel like I can do to like show you how much I love you.
Yeah.
And it's really sweet because it's true. Like it's a bonding experience when you treat it with respect.
Yes.
And we do that. Like that's our opinion. That's what
Yeah.
we believe is the right thing to do. And because we both kept that like part of ourselves for marriage, it's this beautiful bond that we have with each other that only the other person knows.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like super special. I'm not dissing anybody who did it before marriage, but to anybody who's not married and hasn't done it, wait, it is so much better. And there's all these people who will tell you, like, how do you know what you want? It's like,
Right.
you want a person who loves you and respects you.
Yeah.
Period. I think Kyle's is definitely physical touch.
No, I think that's perfect. Once Brenton and I and specifically like you said when Brenton told me it was more about connection, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, like I get that. So
Yeah.
it like lifted a weight off my shoulder. Anyways, we totally like kind of not really, it's physical touch.
No, yeah.
When I told Brenton we were doing this episode, he was like, "Oh, I don't need to take a test. Mine's physical touch."
Yeah.
And so it's just that, like, I don't know. For him, I think it kind of uh engulfs whatever, wraps all of them into one, right? Like
Yeah.
he feels affirmed, right? Like
Reassured.
reassured. Yes, he
Yeah.
feels reassured and he feels loved and he feels like it's a gift from me to touch him. No. So it's just kind of everything that yeah, so that's our spouses' love
That's so
languages.
funny. They are similar.
Do you have any Valentine's Day that sticks out to you?
The one in eighth
After
grade.
married. After marriage. After married. How many I'm
um.
like my grammar is not good on this. After
Hey.
marriage.
Marriage. What brings us
Do you-
together?
I've never seen that movie.
I haven't either.
Okay, but I know that's such a favorite famous quote.
It's so funny.
After your marriage, is there any Valentine's Day that sticks out to you?
Yeah, the first one. Kyle was so funny. He asked me like a week before. He was like, "Do we celebrate it?"
Oh, uh-huh.
He like, approached it kind of cautiously, and I was like, "I don't like Valentine's Day. I think it's kind of a waste of money. Do you want to go shopping with me the day after for like Valentine's chocolates that are on sale?" And he was like, "Heck yeah, I do," because we both love chocolate, and that was like what we did, and I loved it. And
That's
so I was
cute.
like, we just don't love Valentine's Day because I feel like it's a day where you're told to treat your spouse special, and it's like you should do that every day.
It's every day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we actually use Valentine's Day as a way to celebrate our kids.
Oh, cute.
Kyle will get the girls new dresses instead of at Easter when they're more expensive.
Yeah.
And I'll take Declan on a date and we'll like get him something. Like last year I think I got him a new tie for church. And just like we spend time with the kids of the opposite gender just to like show them that it's special. So if it's special to them, like they can tell whoever they end up being with, like this is special to me because my parents made it special, and
Yeah.
they can decide for themselves if they think the holidays
They don't have like a dreaded
stupid.
taste in their mouth about
Yeah,
it.
like I never
Yeah.
want them to feel like left out or dumb or embarrassed. It's like, oh, my parents do this for me
Yeah.
because they love me. And
That's
that's what the day's
cute.
supposed to be about, is love. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be from like a romantic
Right.
standpoint. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's my take on it. Again, probably unpopular, but
aren't most of our takes.
yeah.
My girls have been planning Valentine's Day for this past week, so we will keep you posted on what the big plans are. Capri was like, "Can we stay up till midnight on Valentine's Day?" I was like, "No." She's like, 9:00. No. So we'll
7:05.
see. I was like 7. She's like 7:30.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
okay.
Does she have a plan for you know who?
For her little boyfriend? I don't know. I don't know what they've been planning. It's all in this closet
Oh.
here, and they won't let me open it. So we'll see.
Oh my gosh.
They've got a playlist made. They've got decorations.
I'm excited to hear how this is going to go.
We will see. The
so
Valentine's that sticks out to me the most is the one when Brenton and I started dating.
Yeah. Okay.
So we started dating in January, and then Valentine's Day was in February. And obviously, and that was so silly. We've never celebrated Valentine's on Valentine's Day because he's either been working or I was working, so it was
Right.
always the day before or the day after. And the one I'm pretty sure it goes like this is that we went to out to dinner, and then we went to go. There was like this big fire pit at this outdoor mall in Tucson.
So it's still warm outside.
It was still warm. I know, right? But there was a fire pit, and then there was like a bench that overlooked the city.
Oh.
And that he was, what was it? He was, so, okay, let me back this up. A few days before, we were driving in the car, and he said, "Did you hear on the radio?" Because we love the Bobby Bones show, even when we were dating. And so we would share stories of like what we heard on the Bobby Bones show. And he said, "Did you hear that it takes less than like, I think it was like less than like 5 dates for a man to fall in love." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't hear that. Whatever." Okay, so that was the end of that. And then we get to this place overlooking the city, and then he like looks at me and he tells me, he's like, "I think it's past the 5th date." That was his way of telling me that he loved me. And
That's
so
cute.
all I said was, "Okay." Like, I don't know. That was too soon.
He's trying to cop out of saying "I love you"
Yes.
first and wants you to say it. Okay.
Yes, and so I was just like, "Okay." And then that was the end of that. So anyways,
Oh my
that
gosh.
Valentine sticks out to me.
So when did he
kinda fun.
actually say "I love you"?
I think that was it until I then, a few weeks later, was like, "Okay, I think I love you," or something like that.
Oh.
And then we said that. But that was his way of like not saying it, but seeing if I would say it. So
Oh,
it was
that's
kind of
so
funny.
cute.
Okay, anything else?
Let's talk a little bit about. I wanted to talk about Valentine's Day cute stuff, and then also like, do you have a worst Valentine's Day?
No.
No.
I don't have as many like boy stories
I
or
guess
anything as
that's
somebody
fine.
does. So
Okay, okay, okay.
I don't, but we'd love to hear yours.
All right. Well, mine is kind of just a person who I happen to be dating around Valentine's Day. Anyway, it's kind of a story, so sorry, but you'll think it's funny, I promise. And if you don't, then you're listening to the wrong podcast. Okay, so December, I started dating this boy who I met through a mutual friend. This is in college. He was my first like real boyfriend in college, who I
Mm-hmm.
dated for a while. And he was not my type of person to date, and he lived not long distance, which I said I'd never do. And anyway, we had mutual friends. We went on this double date, and it was super fun. And we like hung out for like 4 days in a row, and it's because he was going back out of town. And after he left, he was like, "Oh my gosh, like I want to see you again. It'd be so fun if we could like fly out and see each other." And I was like, "Cool, like do you actually mean that?" And he was like, "Yes." And I was like, "Cool, what if I bought a plane ticket and came out to New Mexico and saw you?" And he was like if I he was living with his parents still, and he was like, "Let me ask my parents if they'd like stay here." And I was like, "Cool." And they said yes, because like, they had this huge house. So I stayed in like this part over kind of by his parents' bedroom. He was in the basement, like the opposite side of the house. So his parents said that that would be fine. And we just had to, adhere to their curfew and stuff like that. I was like,
Right.
I respect that. Like, that's great. So I flew out there and saw him. It's like a week before Valentine's Day. And he was this big romantic gesture person. And so he like took me out to do all of these things. And it was really fun, but it started to feel like awkward. I felt like he's kind of like love bombing me a little bit, which he wasn't, but I felt awkward about it. But I didn't say anything because I never had anyone treat me like this. All my other boyfriends are like
High school.
high school
Yeah.
boyfriends. And so we dated for a while, and I always remembered that Valentine's Day. Like, it was so weird to have someone call me and be like, I love you, la 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 la. Anyway, and he like celebrated it, and it was just kind of funny because like we had really different takes on it from what I remember. And I the way we broke up, I don't know why I always think about it this time of year. But he came out here. I'd gone to New Mexico 3 times, I think, 2 or 3 times. And then in April he came to Utah where I was living with his whole family.
Okay.
Or his whole family was gonna meet him there. I don't remember. But like he was there, and instead of doing things with me, we did things like with his friends that were there, which was red flag number one. He didn't actually want to hang out with me in my
Right.
place. We went to dinner with my family. Well, I guess it was lunch. We went to lunch with my family. And he did not get along with my siblings. He thought
Okay.
they were weird and crazy, and just kind of like sat awkwardly and like watched the chaos unfold.
Yeah.
Yeah, red flag number two. And then he kept listening to the song, and it was like, I can't remember the name of the song, but it was super popular, and it would always say, I want something just like this.
Oh
I
yeah. I
want
want
something
something
just
just like.
like this.
Yeah.
And he would always sing it and be like, oh, I love this song right now, but then look at me. I was like, okay, red flag number three.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so we hang out with his family. His parents are kind of being weird. His dad then offers to pay for me to go on a mission because he thinks I'm too young to not go on a mission, which was code for don't marry my son, you're too young. You need a mission.
Had his son already been on a mission?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He was a couple years older than me. And his dad was rich and had paid for 2 other of his friends to go on a mission, the way that I was
Girls?
dating.
Really?
One of them was actually his friend. One of them was somebody he was like kind of interested in. His dad was like,
Sent her
send
away.
her on a mission. I was like, that's kind of. I mean, I love that he did that for them, but did he do it for the right reason?
Right.
I don't know. It's kind of strange. Anyway, so we ended up breaking up, and I've never really shared this story like publicly.
Oh no.
I was kind of embarrassed about it, honestly, because I really liked him. And I felt like I was like starting to actually like fall in love. I didn't really realize at the time that I wasn't, but that's because I hadn't actually fallen in love before. So anyway,
Right.
um, so I had a good time with him, but he kept being weird and just was like, I feel like things are moving too fast physically, and I was like, in your mind, or
Right.
because I don't see what you're talking about. So anyway, I'm not gonna go into details on that. He sent me an email after he was in town for a week, and he didn't hang out with me a lot. I was getting annoyed by it. I was like, he's distancing himself. He's being weird. And I tried to confront him about it, and he just kind of blew it off, like, "Well, I'm in town with my family. It's Easter, whatever." Um, and so he emails me on his car trip home with his mom, and it's
So
like
his mom emailed you?
his mom helped. Oh yeah,
Okay.
he told me later. My mom proofread that message that I sent you. Anyway, emails me that he loves me, but he loves God more, and so he had to break up with me.
That's so strange. Okay.
So I didn't get it. I was like heartbroken. I was like, he's breaking up with me for a reason he won't tell me.
Yeah.
He's making something up to try and make me feel better. It's this whole entire letter, and it was so awkward. Anyways, then I moved to Provo a couple months later, which I had originally planned to move to Provo to date him in like real life, not long distance.
Yeah.
And that's when I met Kyle. And he had been texting me, this other boy, like consistently. Like he never actually cut contact off with me. And then like in June, he was like, "When I get there, do you think we could try dating again?" I was like, "Probably not." And then like 2 weeks later, me and Kyle decided to like be girlfriend boyfriend, and I told him, I was like, "Don't talk to me more. I
Yeah.
found someone who I really like. I'm dating them, and I just feel like it's worth giving him a fair shot," which was good because I married him.
Yeah.
But this other boy was like so annoyed and so mad, and I was kind of like, "Ha ha ha," you know, get over it.
Yeah.
And then Kyle, one of his really good friends, she lived in these apartments in Provo, and I would hang out with her, and sometimes I'd go to church with her because Kyle worked on some Sundays, and I didn't like going to church alone.
Yeah.
And he ended up being in her ward,
Oh, really?
and he ended up dating her roommate.
Uh-huh.
And so it was so funny because I'd already told this girl the story of how we broke up. And when I saw him, I was like, "That's the kid that broke up with me in the email that his mom helped him write." And she's like, "Stop, my roommate's dating him."
Oh.
And it was so awkward. And he walks in, and this is at BYU ward. So it's an auditorium,
Yeah.
like
It's
classroom
huge.
filled with people. And he looks at me and just like looks
Did
away.
you guys talk?
No.
Oh.
And so after sacrament meeting, my friend was like, "Let's just go. Like, we don't need to make this awkward." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, I don't want to like be here. That's weird. I'm newly married. I don't need to like
Married or?
married."
Oh, you were married. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So this is like a few months later, and so it's just super awkward.
Yeah.
And then this roommate comes at me and like sends her friend this text asking for my number because she needs to let me know that that was not okay for me to show up there and like rub it in his face that I was happy and like be mean. And I was like, I didn't even know he'd be there. So
Yeah.
he told this other girl that he's dating that his ex-girlfriend showed up and was doing it to get back at him.
After you're already married. That's so
I was
funny.
like, "You are the one."
Did he end
that-
up marrying her?
No.
Oh, okay.
He did get married, I think. I mean, I don't know. I'm not friends with him on Facebook anymore, but
Huh.
I was friends with his brother for a while, and he posted
Yeah.
pictures at his wedding, I think.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was just funny. And I did run into him one time at UVU right after I got engaged, and we were in the cafeteria, me and Kyle, and I
Yeah.
saw him, and he smiled at me, and I waved with this hand, my left hand with my finger, and I swear he saw the ring and just like I was invisible at that point.
That's so
So I was
funny.
like, "Oh, whatever." Like,
There you
so.
go. There's your Valentine's story.
Yeah. Weirdest Valentine
That's so
with
fun.
the worst breakup ever right after. So.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, follow us on Instagram.
Yes, please. Girls'
And-
night with Sam and Kate.
Yes. And what else? I'm trying to think.
Leave us a review.
Leave us a review.
Let us know what you guys think. We'd love to
Yeah.
connect with you more and really just create like a community of moms who can like share stories and have a
Yeah.
good time together.
Yep. Perfect. Okay.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.